In this video, we'll be looking at how you can do the experimental setup and draw the titration table. So in this experiment, we will clamp the burette as well as the pipette on the burette clamp. Do take note to clamp the pipette on the thinner stem and not on the pipette bulb. So when we set up the experiment, usually what we try to do is to separate the things that we're going to use for the pipette and the thing that we're going to use for the burette. So things like the conical flask, the pipette solution, the pipette filler, you should try to put it on one side, and then for things for the burette, you put it on the other side. So this is how your setup should look like. So after we have actually done our experimental setup, we will need to draw the titration table. Okay, drawing a good titration table is a very important skill to learn, and it would take about approximately 5 marks, right, of the whole titration exam. So I will always suggest my students to write in the headings before we draw the table. It will not only save time, but it will be a better planning for your table. So these are the headers that you need for your titration table, and these should be written in pen. So first one, final burette reading /CMQ, initial burette reading /CMQ, volume used /CMQ, and finally best results bracket tick. Right? Then we will write headers 1, 2, and then 3. So after you have done this, then you use your pencil and you draw in the table lines. Right? Now, as you can see, the final burette reading, initial burette reading, volume used, and best results are on the leftmost column, and then 1, 2, 3 is on as columns. So this is a peculiar way of actually doing a titration table, right? But it needs to be written in this way. Okay, so please take note. So let's go through some common mistakes that students make. Right, before that, please remember that there's no units in the table and that all values given in a titration table must be given to 2 decimal places. For example, 0.00 and 25.50. Always 2 decimal places. So let's look at the first common mistake. Are you able to identify the mistake? So in this current table, instead of saying final burette reading, the student has labeled it as final burette volume and initial burette volume. So please remember that instead of using the word volume, you need to use the word reading. What about this one? Can you identify the mistake? So as you can see, the final and the initial has actually swapped the positions. The final should be at the top and the initial should be at the bottom, the second row. What about this one? Can you spot a mistake? So over here is the labeling, is the way that we express our units. So our units should be expressed as a /CMQ instead of a bracket CMQ. So please remember /CMQ. What about this one? So while we might think that this is actually a possible way that we can draw our table where the different fields are column headers, however, this is not the way that we would represent our titration table during the O-level exam. So please remember that this format of table is not allowed. So to end this, let's take a look at the proper table one more time. Final burette reading, initial burette reading, volume used, best results, and then 1, 2, and 3. You should have also noticed that I left the last part purposefully open, because if you need to do a 4th titration, a 5th titration, we can just keep adding it on. Always remember, in titration, all values must be given to 2 decimal places. So all the best, and I hope this has been helpful. Bye.